Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Prepping by Faith, and today I wanted to share an article with you guys talking about millions of gallons of untreated sewage that is spilling over from Mexico into San Diego, forcing a lot of beach closures. I think it's important that we touch on this, not just from a standpoint of the mess that they are dealing with, but also understanding, having a conversation about what do we do with our own waste if we were in an emergency situation. How do we properly handle that? Understanding the implications of if we do not, what kind of diseases can spread, and the aftermath of something that is, that grotesque to handle. So I wanted to touch on some of the things that we can do in an emergency situation as well. So let's go ahead and hit the highlights of this article. So it says that San Diego is contending with millions of gallons of raw sewage that are flowing into the city from Mexico via a pair of canyons on the border. So this sewage spill began when a construction crew accidentally ruptured a significant pipeline near Tijuana, forcing the closure of several of their pump stations that send sewage away from the border toward the coastline. So this caused wastewater to escape from the collection system and drain into the natural channels such as the canyons and the Tijuana River. And as a result, San Diego has been forced to close some of its beaches. They said there are several major closures in connection. The Imperial Beach and Silver Strand shorelines are currently closed because the bacteria levels exceed health safety standards, and that they are not to have any contact with the water in this area. I mean, think about that. You're just on a beach, you're just trying to have a good time with your family. Maybe you're just, out there on vacation even. If you got that kind of bacteria into a cut, or swallowed any of that water, imagine the implications from coming into contact with raw sewage and all the disease that could ensue from that. So that is something to be aware of when you are going to beaches. Even, you just don't know what you are coming into contact with there. They say that it's going to be at least another week for the broken pipe to get fixed, but they say that that is not going to fully address the pollution that is coming from this aging San Antonio de los Buenos wastewater plant in Punta Bandera, which is situated 6 miles south of the border near Tijuana. The EPA, our EPA, shows that the treatment plant sends roughly 35 million gallons of raw sewage per day into the Pacific Ocean, and then that then floats up the coast, leading to these beach closures. Can you believe that this is even being allowed to take place in this day and age? We are in the 21st century, and we actually have a situation where the infrastructure is so poor in our neighboring country down there in Mexico that they are allowing 35 million gallons of raw sewage per day to go into the Pacific Ocean. So how much of that is just getting pumped into our ocean? Like, our ocean is a giant trash disposal system for the world's crud. I mean, literally, our crap is just going into the ocean. And nobody thinks that this is a health crisis, that this is something that we should be addressing. This infuriates me on so many levels, because here we go. We want to send, billions of dollars over to help out with, conflict issues, and yet we can't send any type of aid there to fix and help this infrastructure that would also help our own country, so that we're not experiencing the problems and the aftermath from all this raw sewage that's going out there. The EPA wants to sit here and tout all of these, green energy initiatives and partnerships, yet you have a situation right here that is causing disease, that could cause outbreaks, and they don't even want to do anything to help out with this or fix it. Even if we built up the infrastructure better on our side of the border, that at least we know that our beaches are going to be better protected. So they say the EPA has a $630 million plan to deal with this sewage pollution flowing in from Mexico, that includes expanding the international wastewater treatment plant in San Diego. But they say that that project could take 3 years to go underway. And what you guys need to understand is that they have been dealing with these issues since the 1930s. So are they actually going to get this plan off the ground, or is this just a proposal, right? I think it's important that we pay attention to stuff like this, because this is something that should never have been let go in the first place. So what I wanted to touch on really quick, guys, with you is I think it's important that we talk about how do we properly dispose of our waste in an emergency situation. Let's say we're in a grid down. Let's say the sewers aren't flowing properly. Let's say we we've lost water, and we need to know what to do with our waste. So one of the things that you can do is make sure that you have created some sort of waste buckets. They do have something called a luggable loo. That is what we have purchased for our family. They're not that expensive. Amazon has gone up significantly in price, but you can shop around and find those elsewhere, usually for around $25 price point. But you want to have one for your feces, you want to have one for your urine, you want to get the proper bags to line those. If you are going with something that is biodegradable, guys, that is made out of more of a composting type bag, understand that you need to store those in a cool, dry location. And that over time, because they are biodegradable, they are going to lose some of that structural integrity. And you are going to have to replace those about every year or so. So make sure that you're cycling through those, or that you know that you need to replace those at that year marker. You can also stock up on heavy duty contractor bags so that if you had to, move some of that, you can. You don't want a hole or something getting in that when you are trying to move that to dispose of it. Understand that when you're disposing of your waste, you want to be at least 200 feet away from any water sources, including groundwater if you are trying to access that. So when you go to bury that, make sure you are far enough away. You're digging a deep enough hole to get rid of it. It needs to be at least a couple of feet deep, and you are covering that. To mitigate the smells and things that are inside of this waste, you can use things like baking soda. They do have something called Eco Gel that is a biodegradable material that can gel up that urine if you're trying to dispose of that way. Things like kitty litter and sawdust are also really great items to put in there to help neutralize smells. Is something that we have purchased heavily on is kitty litter, and I have tons of bags of baking soda because that is very multifaceted and it doesn't ever go bad, guys. It doesn't expire. So that's something that you can stock up on and use for so many things. So as far as handling that, you want to make sure that you are stocking up on a lot of boxes of the nitrile gloves, latex and powder free. Those are going to be awesome to cover your hands, protect your hands, especially when you're dealing with any kind of bodily function, whether that is feces or it is vomit or blood, or you're having to deal with cleaning up after a pet. If you don't have running water, then you're going to want to have ways to keep your hands covered. You're going to want to know how to take those gloves off properly so that you don't come into contact with that. You want to have your big bottles of hand sanitizer. You want to have plenty of bleach stocked up on, or some other equivalent that you can properly clean things with. I've also stocked up heavily on Clorox wipes for many reasons. I find that those are, really easy to clean with, but also it already has the cloth for me. So then I don't have to worry about, using additional cloth of any kind, whether that's a paper towel or a piece of material that I'm going to then dirty and have to figure out how am I going to wash this now that I have less water available to me. Hygiene is going to be one of those things that is really, really critical. And if you ever did get into a situation where, someone had become contaminated with something, you're going to want to have antibiotics on hand to handle that kind of a situation. So I would recommend that you guys check out Jace Medical. That is a company that I am affiliated with. There is a link in the description box to save you $10 off if you have not stocked up on antibiotics yet. I would recommend that you do that. You don't have to get them through me. There's plenty of other people out there that are also affiliated with Jace Medical. I think they're a great company. They're a great place to start to make sure you have those core antibiotics at your fingertips, because you just never know what kind of a situation you could be presented with. Something as simple as a urinary tract infection can take you out if you allow that bacteria to spread, from your bladder into your kidneys. So you got to think about these kinds of things. What kind of things could we encounter, and how can we be better protected and ready for these different situations? If you guys have enjoyed this video today, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And remember to pray, prep, and put God first. God bless. Hey guys, are you concerned about the death of the dollar? Are you concerned about a full-blown economic collapse? If you are, I want you to consider giving Genesis Gold Group a call. They are a Christian-based company that is going to help you roll over your 401k into a gold-backed IRA that is self-governed. You also have the ability to send them cash and take possession of those precious metals if that is something that you would like to do. As we see all of these things unfolding before us, the sky high inflation, the move away from the US dollar as a petrodollar, and we see the central bank digital currencies that are going to be underway this summer. Preserving our wealth through precious metals is one way to sort of hedge our bets and make sure that we have something that is going to be more substantial to carry us forward. So go ahead, check them out. They are Genesis Gold Group, genesisgoldgroup.com, or give them a call at 1-800-200 4653. Tell them Prepping by Faith sent you, and God bless.